any officer, set over me, even to the peril of my life.
I'm an officer in the Indian Army. I'm a son to two mothers. One bore me, but the other, my country. She made me. She made me the man that I am. And every time she calls, I shall hear and I shall heed. For she sings to me in my hour of need.
सब कुछ तू ही जान मेरी, तेरे हाथों की लकीरों में तकदीर मेरी, तू जो हारी है हार मेरी, उठे सर भी मेरा जो हो जीत तेरी। तू न चलेगा अकेला कभी की संग, चलेगी मेरी दुआ। तू न थकेगा कभी की ताकत तुझ में लाखों की है। तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, चलेगी मेरी दुआ। तू न थकेगा कभी की ताकत तुझ में लाखों की है। तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल।
One thing remains the same. That is your task and your duty. You are required to ensure the security of this country against any aggression. What does that mean for you? It means that you shall have to fight and fight to win. I look around, I see parents, I see relations, I see friends who are looking at you with trust and pride. Make sure, gentlemen, that you don't betray their trust or their pride. May the winds of fortune blow kindly upon you, and may good luck attend all your deeds.
तू ही लकीरों में तकदीर मेरी, तू जो हारी है हार मेरी, उठे सर भी मेरा।
Sorry, sir. Good evening to one and all present here today. My name is Naman Tandon, and today I would like to greet you all on behalf of Team Arambh. You might know what Team Arambh is, as well as there are chances that you might not. Thus, I would like to brief you about this initiative of ours in a few lines. Team Arambh comprises of a group of defense aspirants committed towards helping other aspirants with the same mind frame. And to help it keep it this way, Team Arambh will keep on trying to bring up the best intellectuals from the various portions of the defense services as well as from the civil services backgrounds and connect the aspirants via our webinars to them. Okay, so what Team Arambh has in store for today is something pretty amazing. A person most of the aspirants would look up to, a man with more than 37 years of experience serving in the army, a person who has been a part of 4 operations launched by the Indian Army. We have with us this evening retired Major General A.K. Shukla, sir. Sir completed his graduation from the prestigious Delhi University and later on decided to join the Indian Military Academy in the year 1979. But it was on those stars that were later placed upon his shoulders as the only after more than 1.5 years of rigorous training when Sir finally earned those stars that were later placed upon his shoulders as he entered into a completely new life as an officer in the Indian Army in December 1980. You might get goosebumps as I say that Sir's first posting was in the Uri sector. Throughout his career, Sir has served in the Jammu and Kashmir sector as well as in the northeast insurgent areas for more than 15 years. Sir commanded his battalion during the Operation Vijay and was responsible for the security of the most important Zozila Pass in the Sringa. Sir has also done a lot of career courses in the army, including his masters from London. To add to this, Sir has to his name the Commando Course, High Altitude Warfare Course. Sir has also been the president of the 22nd 22 SSB and the commandant of the SSB Center in Bhopal, a blogger, a motivational coach, mentor with a distinguished Vishisht Sena Medal, aka the VSM, alongside a Western Commander's Commendation Card. I don't know how to put it to words to other achievements of the to Sir's name. Thus, without further ado, I would like to now call upon Major General A.K. Shukla, sir, for his address. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Navin. I'm really humbled by your introduction, but before I start today evening's talk, let me compliment each and every one of you and welcome you to this webinar. And let me tell you, it's a great pleasure to be talking to the youth of India and the future leaders of India and the future builders of the nation. So I personally feel really elated and really humbled, and it'll be my endeavor to try and put across in a very clear manner as to what is this SSB all about. Because I know that there is a large amount of myths in the environment. There is an overload of information and things like that. But I am aware that you are seeking some kind of insight into the personal interview, especially in the SSB. And because there are no official feedbacks given during your SSB, you find it very difficult to actually introspect as to what went wrong and why was it that you were not selected. So that leads to a lot of speculation, myths, and wrong deductions, which may not be entirely true, and that actually hinders your selection process. But before I start, let me dispel one of the most important fears in you. SSB is one of the most wonderful experience which you can gain in your life. It's very transparent system, a very, very beautifully designed, very scientifically designed system. And the aim of complete SSB is not to select the best candidate. Let's put that first fact straight. I'm not looking at the best out of the group. I'm looking for the right person out of the group. So do not think it's a competition. So first fear is that there is no competition here. If you are good, you are good. And if it doesn't matter if others are also good, if you all are good, we are bound to select all of you. But if we find none of you in the group who's good, then we won't hesitate to not recommend any one of you. So that's how the SSB goes. We are looking for the right fit. So that is what I wanted to dispel. I'll start with some screen sharing. I hope my computer behaves. In case it doesn't, I will carry on my presentation verbally. I mean, I won't show the slides in that case. So please bear with it. So let me start the slide share first before I. Can you all see the slides, or you're not seeing it as yet? Can you see the slides now? All right. Okay. So what I intend doing today is that I will give you an insight into personal interview. The flow of the presentation is going to be like this. I'll give you a brief introduction to the SSB. Then I've been told that I must cover filling up of the PIQ form. Then is the personal interview. What is it? What is that IO is looking for? And what is the preparation strategy and the takeaway? And then, of course, I would be willing to take on question and answers from you. All right. So let's start right away. I'll give you an overview of what is SSB because I believe 68% of you are freshers and balance are the repeaters. So let me put the facts straight. What is the reality, ground reality? There is no dearth of aspirants. As far as we are concerned, we get large number of applications. There are large number of candidates who appeared for UPSC exams. But yet the fact on ground is that there is a shortage of officers in the all three defense forces. We are running short of officers. And the selection is very, very low. It is as low as 4%. I hope you guys know it. It's just 4%. And for some entries, it is further low. For NDA and 10 plus 2 TS entry, it is slightly better. But for other entries, it's really low. Now, and the fact is that there are a large number of coaching academies which have come up. Internet is full of information. You can see any amount of videos, any amount of information you want to gather today on a SSB, it is available. So then why is it that you still find it very difficult to get through the SSB? The problem is that most of this information has not been of the SSB. SSB is not a test. And today also, when I was talking to, I mean, not only today, whenever I talk to youngsters and I ask them that, what is it that you're doing? They say, sir, we are preparing, we want to crack SSB. I would like to, correct you. Please don't use this word crack. It is not an exam. SSB is not an exam. It is a normal way of selection for the defense services. You're going to be selected to become leaders. Therefore, it's a way of life which we are looking at. We are looking that, do you have those qualities in you? We are not looking for that you can mug up. How many answers can you mug up? How many VAT can you complete? How many SRTs you can complete? If that was the case, then we won't call you for the SSB. We'll send them you online and you can finish it up and give it to us. But that is not how it works, So therefore, this coaching academies and other people, while they are useful, I'm not denying that. But what happens is that you need to be very selective as to what is that information you're seeking from the SSB. What is that you want from the coaching centers? Otherwise, you will go wrong, entirely wrong. And if you go with preconceived ideas, prepared stories, and prepared answers to your personal interview, and prepared answers to all the GTO tests, then I'm afraid that your chances of selection become very, very less. So that is what it is. So the environment reality is, while all this information is there, there is an overload of information all around, yet we find the candidates are not coming and meeting our standards. So I wanted to put that across. Now, what is this SSB? It is actually a personality-based selection process. We are not very concerned about your selection process, your academics. That doesn't play much of a role. What plays role is that what are you? Do you have those qualities which would make you an effective leader in the defense forces? It's very scientific and time-tested. Why I say so? It has been devised and completely created by an organization known as DIPR, that is Defense Institute of Psychological Research, which is located in Delhi. It is manned by some fantastic behavioral scientists and some army officers and defense officers. They're the ones who keep on upgrading and devising the ways of testing. So it's time tested, and it is being tried in many armies of the world. As a matter of fact, today we are getting demands for this selection process to be implemented in many other organizations, and they're copying us. Coast Guard already has started doing it. We are getting even queries from a lot of MNCs that how do you do it? Please tell us, and things like that. The other aspect is very transparent and very fair. Let me tell you, if it wasn't, we would have had no shortages of officers. So that is the thing. And the emphasis is on OLQs and not academics. It's a 5-day testing, 3 techniques employed. For the freshers, it is your psychological test, it is the GTO test, which is a ground testing officer's test, and then there is a personal interview. So this is what a short overview I want to give. Now let's talk about the personal information questionnaire, okay, which is in short called PIQ. Now I'll quickly go over how you should be filling the PIQ form, because that is very important. It is, firstly, let me tell you, it is one of the most important documents as far as you're concerned in the SSB. It is something like your Janam Kundli, and you must be very, very diligent and very careful when you're filling it, all right? Because based on your PIQ, your complete entire SSB is going to go through. Now, please, a word of caution. When I say it is based on that, that does not give you any amount of liberty, even any minuscule liberty, to pad it up, write anything which is not correct or things like that. So, firstly, read the question very carefully what is being asked, because your answer there may not be accurate. All right? So be deliberate. All information which you're filling up there should be accurate, and it should be filled honestly. If you suppose, for example, if you've not taken part in any sports, please do not write there for the sake of doing, because there is a column there. If you've not taken part in NCC, please do not fill it in case you haven't. Extracurricular activities, you don't have to fill it up. Hobbies, you don't have to fill it up in case you're not actually pursuing any hobby. Because if you do that, you're putting yourself into a very difficult position as far as your personal interview is concerned. So my humble request to you is, PIQ form has to be filled up with total honesty. That is what I'm trying to tell. Now, as far as the filling thing is concerned, please use legible hand. You have to practice it. It has to be filled in hand there. You will not get a computer to fill it. So please, legible hand, avoid scribbling, overwriting, and cuttings. That makes it very irritating piece of paper to read by the IO, because IO has your PIQ form before you come for his personal interview. Okay, then there are some achievements we ask you. Please do not mention that I was monitor in class 6. It is no great achievement. Okay, so when I ask you achievements, if you're a 10 plus 2 candidate, then your achievements, of course, would be restricted to your 12th standard only. But if you're a college going guy and you're coming up for a graduate entry, I'm sure you would have done many other things in life which would actually qualify to be mentioned in that achievement. Okay, then the other thing is that please remember the details which you filled in your PIQ form. And if you filled it truthfully, then I'm sure you would remember them, because you're going to be questioned and grilled on what you've written in your PIQ. So the best policy, as far as the tip I can give you, the Guru Mantra I can give you is, please practice filling PIQ form in your hand before you even arrive at SSB. These forms are available online. You can get any amount of them. Please download them and start filling up them in details with your hand. And another tip I'll give you, that there are columns. It's a little complicated. Say elder brother, oblique sister, oblique. So, you have to score out what is not relevant. You do not score out. So the interviewing officer doesn't know it was your elder brother or elder sister, younger brother or younger sister. And it shows that how casual or how, attentive you are towards answering. So it's a very important piece of document, and it reflects your complete attitude and personality. It is a reflection. It is something like filling up a check. In case you make some minor mistake, your check is not going to be honored. So it is that kind of an important which is assigned to PIQ. Please be very attentive when you fill in your PIQ form. I hope I have made this issue very, very clear to you. All right? Okay, now let's come to the personal interview. The personal interview techniques is predictive. It is based on inferences and assumptions. It's personality based. It is not on academics. It is personality based. We are looking at your attitude. We are looking at your personality. We are looking at the off the like qualities. All right. It's time tested. I've covered it earlier. And it is unlike any other job interview. I don't think so. Any other job interview goes on for 5 days. Here we are taking 5 days to select a leader for the defense forces. And why are we doing that? We cannot afford to make a mistake because it can be disastrous as far as national security is concerned. We cannot go wrong. And we've applied 360 degrees kind of a personality check, which we are doing on you. We are looking at your thinking, we are looking at your complete thought process, and we are looking at the action. Are they in sync with each other? What you speak, do you actually do it? Do you actually think? So all three assessing tools or assessors, while they're looking at the same OLQs, but they have their own ways of doing it. So therefore, we are making sure that our filtration process, our checking process is actually foolproof. So that is why it is. Okay, questions based on your PIQ form, I've already covered. CIQ used to know you during the interview. Now, what is CIQ? I'll cover a little later, but it is a comprehensive information questions, which are actually a set of questions which you generally refer to as rapid fire questions. This is a set of interrelated questions which are thrown to you, and we expect you to grasp them and answer them. So that is how the interview is done. It is one-on-one and in a very friendly manner. The interviewing officer is a very senior officer of the three services. He has to be in the rank of colonel and above, colonel, brigadier, and even a major general like I was. And in the Air Force, it will be up to the rank of Air Commodore and Navy also Commodore. And why this senior officer? They are the ones who have gone through a complete theoretical course at the DIPR, followed by a practical training at one of the SSB centers under a mentor and under strict vigilance. And if he is found fit, then only he is posted back as an interviewing officer. Otherwise, he will not be posted. And the other thing is, because his maturity level is more, and he would have children almost as your age, so he has a very good understanding and into how the children of today are being actually brought up. So he can understand you very well. That is also a very important facet in the interview. So when you're undergoing a personal interview, close watch on your body language is being maintained, because body language tells a lot of stories. All right. So what you speak, and if your body language is not in coordination, it is very easy to detect. And that is what one has to be very careful about. Okay, now what is the composite information question? Now, composite information questions are a series of questions, 10 to 15, 20, depending on the intellectual level of yours. The IO may modify it or change it a little bit, seeing your background. If you're a repeater, the thing may change a little bit. And if you are a fresher, it may be a little different. So, but basically, the questions are going to be the same, only the sequencing may change, all right? Most commonly, what do they include? They include the family and educational background, sports, extracurricular activities, and things like that. Basically, what we are looking at is your grasp, your priority, intellectual capacity, how much you are able to retain. When we throw a set of questions on you, we are actually deliberately giving you a longish question because we want you to actually grasp it. Not only listen, you have to grasp it. And if you grasp it well, your answering it also gives some message. And I hope you know, in communication, silence is also a communicator. So your emotional balance, priorities, span on depth of your intellectual imagination is what we are looking at while you're going through the personal interview. I don't know whether very many coaching centers actually focus on this part of it. And this is where they go wrong, because they are trying to give you the answers and quick fix solutions. I'm afraid that is not the way to prepare for an SSB. That is my personal opinion. All right. Okay. So let's go to the next. All right. Now, how to prepare an answer? Firstly, all CIQs are available on the net. If you go on the net, you type it out, you will get any amount of CIQs, or you go to ssbcrack.com, or you go to any of these academies and they'll put it. Okay. So first, I would like you to do is that read them, understand why such a question is being asked. I mean, I'm not asking you a question unnecessarily. There is a deep meaning as to why we are asked this question. It has been framed after a lot of research by the psychologists, and it must be giving out some facet of your personality. So we are not looking at a parrot kind of an answer or a mugged up answer. If you're giving that, I'm sorry, you're making an IO irritated. He is not going to like that any which way. So therefore, you have to understand the question and answer it. And I'm also telling you, please don't be scared. There is no question which is going to ask you. Most of the question, 90% of the question which is going to ask you are something which you know. I'll give you an example. Won't you know about your friends? Who are your good friends? Would you not know why did you make them as good friends? What were those qualities? Would you not know who's the teacher whom you liked and the ones you didn't? Don't you know the percentages which you scored in your examination, your 12th, 10th, 12th, and your graduation? I mean, even if I wake you up in sleep, you would be able to answer by that question. So we are not asking you something which is out of the blue. Please just dispel that fear. Personal interviews are fantastic experience. You ask the people who have gone through it, barring few who must have been rattled by the IO because he must be trying to find out something very different in them. But by and large, you will find personal interview people are very happy. They may not be happy because they were not able to answer questions on academics and on general awareness. But as far as the behavior and the atmosphere of the personal interview is concerned, I think it's a very friendly atmosphere. In today's world, who is there to listen to you for 45 minutes, uninterrupted, whatever you want to say? Even your parents, you for that long. If you try to tell them that I've got an issue to discuss with you, most probably after 10 minutes they'll say, yeah, you now boring me. ऐसे करना तू मेरे को WhatsApp कर दे, मैं तेरे को जवाब दे दूंगा. And parents will say, don't waste the time, yeah. तुम जाके पढ़ाई कर लो, वो ज़्यादा अच्छा है. So, but here is a person who's listening to you. Not only listening, he is acknowledging. He is absolutely intensely listening to you. He is not only listening, he is actually observing you what you're saying. I mean, I don't think so. In the recent past, very many people listen to you that much. All right. At least my children don't listen to me that much. All right. Anyway, now as far as your reply is concerned, it should be complete with adequate details, displaying depth of knowledge. That is what is important. Not mugged up, but the depth of knowledge has to come out. It is something. It's a way of life. How you've been looking at life, actually. Most of the answers, questions which are asked are PIQ. Remember what you have mentioned to why. I have mentioned this earlier. Why is this question being asked? What is it that the IO is trying to look for? If you go and delve into it, I think you will be able to muster your answers in a much better and an effective manner without wasting his or your time, without much of verbosity, much of shakiness, nervousness, and fear. That is what I want to tell you. All right. So that is, I'm giving you some very important insight into the personal interview here. Okay. Now, the CIQ, I've just covered up all the three main CIQs just for the information of the freshers: education and career options, percentage in various exams, friends, teachers, extracurricular activities, family, parents, and siblings. What are they doing? What is their education? How much do they earn? Activities you get involved in at home, most trusted person, whom do you confide in, and how much pocket money do you get? How do you spend it? Hobbies and interests, books, TV serials, movies, and internet, schedule on a working and a holiday. Here, I would like to give you a very important thing, which I just I was actually reading a book by John C. Maxwell. He's a leadership guru of the world. I'm sure you must have all read about him. You know what he says? That it's a very innocent question when I ask you, what is your schedule on a holiday? And you take it too casually. You know what he says? He says, give me a schedule of an individual and I'll tell you what he's going to become in his life later. So what you schedule and what you do on a day, on a daily basis, is going to decide where you're going to reach. So this question, when it is asked to you, please don't take it, lightly. It has got a lot of meaning, and it has got in-depth analysis of what you actually are and where do you want to go. We can all dream well. We can dream big things, but to achieve them, you have to nurture that dream. You don't have to let it die. Actually, dreams have a very short shelf life. Unless you nurture them and you actually start following them seriously, you will not be able to reach there. So this is what I wanted to tell you. Then there are other questions, additional questions. I've just put it here. Journal awareness. Please prepare for journal awareness. You have to be in sync with what is happening in the world today. Galwan has happened. Still the fight is on. Last night there was some exchange of things which happened there. You're seeing COVID happening. You're seeing many things happening. You're seeing elections coming up in America. You're seeing the policy of China, that string of pearls policy on there. What is happening in Indian Ocean? What is happening in the nation? What is the GDP? Why? What is going down? What is the national education policy? I mean, as a citizen of India, as an educated person, you and I are expected to know about it, and not only know about it, you have to have an in-depth knowledge of it, so that you can form an opinion and also contribute your thoughts and your suggestions, so that you can improve it further. Because the only room which is always vacant and has a vacancy for others is a room for improvement. So never take it that whatever policy has been framed, that's a final. One can actually give its opinion, and then you can only get this opinion in case you're reading. So that is very important, that you must read. You may be subjected to some personal questions regarding your certain issues which may happen in your family, or maybe about your relationships, earlier relationships, how they went and things like that. Many married candidates also come. I'm talking about them also. They can be subjected to how their relationship with their wife or their parents or things like that. Okay. As far as the questions related to service candidates, service is concerned, you may be asked that why are you joining army? And if you are planning to join army or Air Force or Navy, please be prepared to answer the questions on this thing. It's something like that. Suppose I want you to, if you wish to buy a mobile today, you want to buy a new mobile and you've been given a budget about 50,000. I'm sure you wouldn't go blindfolded to the shop and just tell him कि मेरे को यार 50,000 तक का कोई mobile दे. You would open a net, you would talk to your friends, you will find out what are the features, which is the camera, what is the memory, what is this, what is that, you'll find out everything in it. And you'll do the comparisons to no amount. You will not go unless. So if you're showing so much of interest in buying a commodity, it is just a thing, it's just a mobile. Here it is your career. You say that I've been motivated since class 6. I wanted to join army, I wanted to join navy. But when I ask you a question, okay, please tell me what is the difference between a frigate and a submarine? And you said, sir, sorry, I do not know. It reflects very poorly, because what it tells me is that while you are telling me that you were interested, but you actually were not. Because if you were interested, you would have known everything about that arm or service. So please brush up your knowledge about the complete thing. And of course, in case you're a working guy, you would be subjected to some questions on your work related. Okay, achievements there, your bosses, your subordinates, how do you work, what is the atmosphere, and things like that. All right. So now let's go on to the technique of answering, because this is something which you would be very keen to know. So the thing is, first thing I would like to advise is relax. Just relax. Listen to the question completely before you start conceiving its answer. Don't be in a hurry to answer. This is something which I have experienced. What happens is the candidates are so stressed. It's natural. I'm not saying that you won't be stressed. But the earlier you get out of the stress and fear, better for you. Because fear actually, what it does? It cripples your thinking. It cripples it. So it's going to do you no good in case you're under fear or any kind of stress when you're coming for a personal interview. Worst kya ho jayega? What is going to happen? Worst is what? You will not be selected. No? But he's not going to put you onto a hook. He's not going to hang you by the rope if you don't answer a question or something like that. So just relax. It's not the end of the world. If you're not selected, doesn't mean that everything's finished. If that was, we would have never had a electric bulb. Edison would have given up. How many times he failed? So please go with that. Your attitude should be, I am going to perform the best. Selected, fine. If I do not, I'll do an introspection, I'll improve myself, and again go and I will get selected. I think if you go with that attitude, that is going to pay richer dividends rather than going with an attitude कि मैंने तो आज इस बार select होना ही होना है. You're putting yourself unnecessarily under pressure. Unnecessarily under pressure. Don't get into this kind of a thing at all. Just go with the open mind, enjoy yourself, remain observant, and try and put in your best. I'm telling you, that is the way. Okay? Otherwise, if you take life so seriously, I'm afraid the leaders in the army don't do it. You know, you've heard about that guy, Vikram Batra. Even in the war, he said, "Dil mange more." You see his attitude in life. And I must tell you one thing. He got selected in his, I think, 11th or 12th attempt. I hope you guys know it. So it is the attitude we are looking at. All right. So please don't start conceiving the answer the moment the question is thrown at you. Because what will happen is you will not be able to listen to the question then completely. And then you will falter in your answering and you will forget most of the question which has been asked. And then you will answer, "Are you sorry, sir? I think I forgot the answer." And he'll repeat the same question, not only the portion which you left out. He'll repeat the full question again to you. He's not going to leave you like that. So again, you will be in trouble. So hone on and learn the art of listening. It is a skill. Please hone on this skill. Grasp essential, listen carefully. CIQ questions appear to be rapid fire. They are not. They are a set of interrelated questions, which, if understood, can be retained. That is the key to it. If you try to mug up ki aise kya pucha, you'll never be able to understand it. But if you try to understand what is being asked, I'll go ahead in the later part, I'll tell you how you have to understand it. Okay? Remain calm. You will be able to think clearly. This is my experience which is talking. I think I've interviewed more than about, I've lost count now. And I've seen how it happened. Those guys who remain cool, they're smiling, they're lively, they're very happy. I've seen them answering it much better, much better. So that is the key I'm telling you. All right? Now, so, what I want to say is that please sectionize the question which is being asked. If you sectionize it, you will be able to understand it. I said it is correlated. The question is correlated. Like he'll ask you, what subjects did you take in the 11th standard? Why did you take it? What was your career options? The percentages scored in your 10th and in 12th and in your college. Now it is interrelated. You've taken subject. Why did you take it? What percentages you got? Okay. Now that you took, it's again interrelated. It is so interrelated that you don't have to mug it up. Then he says, okay, tell me about the teachers whom you liked and the ones whom you didn't like. Your friends, who are your good friends and why do you consider them good friends? If you actually sit down and just coolly think about it, do you really have to mug up this? Then he'll ask you extracurricular. So it's a rapid fire. I'm the first rapid fire question. I've dissected it. Competitive exams, financial state. Did you have any difficulties in financing your education? If you just sit down and you'll say they're interrelated, everything is interrelated in it. And if you remember the question, you don't have to mug up the answer because that you know already. So that's what I'm trying to give. Okay. Now, when you are answering, be confident, speak loudly and clearly. That is very important. Don't make the IO strain his ears to listen to you. Many times the candidates speak very softly, and towards the end of the interview, they actually, display signs of fatigue. That's very bad because then he's observing you. He's observing your body language. So if you slacken down and if you show some kind of unhappiness because some question you were not able to answer, that doesn't mean the end of the world. Interview is not about not answering one question. Let me tell you, he's going to see your overall performance. Okay, don't speak fast. Be deliberate and sure of yourself. That's a very important technique of communication. Actually, what I'm telling you. and it should not appear as a mugged up reply. I think I have dwelled on it quite a lot. Be concise, avoid verbosity. Don't speak more than what is he asking you. Understand the question and answer only that much. Look into the eyes of IO, be mindful of body language. What I'm trying to say is that when you look into the eyes, actually you are conveying confidence and you are actually, compelling the IO to be very attentive towards yourself. And you're also giving him a vibe that I'm absolutely confident. And what I'm saying is truth, because when you are telling the truth, you look into the eyes. वो बोलते हैं बॉडी लैंग्वेज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग इज एक बड़ी कहावत है चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका दैट कहावत is only for body language. When you are not comfortable, your body language shows. So please be careful about your body language. Be honest and natural. Don't give any lies in your answers. Never speak a lie. And don't pad up your answers. Just don't try to, become a superhero or superwoman there. If you don't know the answer, say so. Say, sir, sorry, I do not know the answer, but I will try and find out. And he may ask you during the conference if you actually found out the answer or not. So please go back and find out, research about it. Remain calm and cheerful. It helps. All right. So now, what is that IO is looking for? I've told you what is the answer technique. Let me tell you. What is he looking at? He's looking at your personality, your attitude. A good citizen, a good boy, a good girl. I mean, in the sense, parents bolte hain na, ye ladka bahut acha hai, he's very nice. The teacher also says he's an excellent boy. That is what we are looking at. Actually, when I talk about the OLQs, if you go, I have not covered OLQs here because there is any amount of material on the net. You can read through it, but OLQs are nothing else. We call it OLQs. If you go into the outside world, they've got parallel names. Like when I talk about ability to influence a group, it is something like an interpersonal. It is a combination of your confidence, your power of expression, and things like that, and ability to influence a group or interpersonal relationships. So our qualities, OLQs are nothing else but qualities which a decent person who's been brought up in a very well balanced manner, who's helpful in nature, who has compassion, who has gratitude, and who has a positive attitude in life. He's got humbleness in him. He's got that mindfulness. He's observant. These are the things we are looking at. Actually, I'm not dwelling on OLQs because that makes you very, very scared that what is this OLQ? It's nothing else. I can take, there's a different session I have altogether on OLQs. I didn't want to bother you today. Okay, we're looking at confidence. We're looking at honesty. We're looking at a most important thing, that is creative thinking. This is very essential. We are looking that do you have the capability of solving the problems which occur in a day-to-day life in a very, very simple manner, but effective manner. And that is where your factor one, that is your effective intelligence, comes in. And that has got your reasoning ability and your resourcefulness. That is what we are looking at. If you do not have that, I'm telling you, warning you now, cautioning you, you are not likely to be selected because factor one is an essential factor as far as a leader is concerned, or for that matter, anywhere in life. If you want to achieve success, your effective intelligence has to be very good. Communication skills, I've already mentioned. Let me tell you a study in the world which has been carried out where they have gone to the employees and they've asked them that which are the skill sets which you want in your people who want to join your organization, which is those skill sets and how do you rate them? The number one skill set on the top of the list is communication. Essential skill set which you should have if you want to succeed in life, not only SSB. Body language, I've already told you, it's part of communication skills. And of course, OLQs, I've explained to you. So that is where I think I've tried to cover the thing. Now, preparation strategy, I'll quickly go over it. Written exams, start early, focus on developing well-rounded personal, balanced personality. Instead of probing what happens at SSB, do self-development, improve interpersonal skills. OLQs are reflective of value-based development. I've mentioned that earlier. Okay, develop moral courage. Role of parents, I don't think so parents are here, but I must tell you that parents play a very dominant part as far as your personality development is concerned. And one more thing which I would like to tell you is physical fitness. Please remain physically fit. It has got tremendous value, tremendous benefits, and it will hold you in a very strong position when you go for SSB. I know we are not testing you physically there, but physical fitness actually makes you mentally robust also, and that is what is being checked there. It improves your personality, it improves and develops your brain. If you're doing yoga and meditation, scientific facts, I've got scientific proof to show that it improves your prefrontal cortex, which is the brain which is responsible for thinking, creative thinking, memory power, and of course, cheerfulness. So it's got a tremendous amount of benefit. Please keep yourself physically fit. And communication skills I've already covered. So I think I've come to the end of my presentation. I've spoken enough. Your turn now. I'm open to questions.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
So we have got inputs from our viewers, and I'd like to put up the first question to you. So the first question is from Tarun Kumar. It is it okay to hide some personal matter or bad habits, etc., from the interviewer?
Is it Shreya who's asking me this question at present? Am I
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, Shreya, firstly, I am not a proponent of saying that you should hide anything. If you hide, the IO is very, the chances are that he's going to catch you any which way. He is very well trained and he's an experienced guy, and he would actually trace it out there if there's something wrong. And you may be subjected to further grilling, which you can avoid. You best is to be honest. Be honest. But when I say that, it is something like this. If I know I've got a weakness, this is my bad quality, what I'm looking at is, have you done something to improve it? And if I see that you are doing nothing to improve it, that becomes further bad. But having some kind of, because we are all human beings, we err is to human, we understand. And again, I'll quote something very important, which I've, all these top companies who are paying about 2 crores to 5 crores to 10 crores per month to the guys who are working for them. I'm talking about Google. And they don't ask them anything about their achievements, nothing about their graduation, then nothing about their MBAs, where they've done it from. They may be from Harvard and all. They are not concerned. Only one thing they ask them, that how did you manage a failure in your life? And they're given about 25 to 30 minutes to actually give out their experience as to how they handled. How did you manage a failure in your life? And they're given about 25 to 30 minutes to actually give out their experience as to how they handle failure. He says, if you can handle failure, if your attitude is good and you can handle failure, you'll achieve everything in life. So if you're trying to hide your weaknesses, that means you do not have that kind of, and that is what is not correct. I hope I've answered this question.
Certainly, sir. Thank you. The next question is from Mukund Vaidya. The question is, what is the impression of the IO towards an unemployed cadet since 2 years?
Okay, I'll again answer. This is a question which is asked to me a number of times. You see, the point is, if you are sitting idle and you're doing nothing, I'll ask you, Shreya, if somebody was to come to you and tell you that for the last 2 years I'm doing nothing, my parents have not got much of salary, but I'm still looking at them for my complete livelihood, and I ask them for pocket money also. They are sponsoring me. I'm preparing for various examinations and all things like that. So when you are asked that which all exams did you appear in and what has been your results, and it is found out that you appeared in almost 6-7 competitive exams and your results have been bad, what impression would you form about that person? You tell me.
Someone who isn't willing to do something or more, like something like that, most probably.
Exactly. So I've answered your question. isn't it?
Sir.
So if somebody is thinking, his impression is nothing. As long as the IO is convinced that the 2 years is used very gainfully and effectively, and he's actually improved himself. We are not looking at the person who's never failed in life. We are looking at a person who failed and how he actually improved himself. If he's not improving, that means in the life he will never improve. I mean, it's something which is, what you've been doing throughout your life, the same thing. ऐसे हो जाता है. That is how it. All right. Can I have next question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the next question is from Abhay Jambal.
Yeah.
He's asked, why is the first attempt known as the golden chance?
Why is the first attempt called a golden chance? Okay. Now, the first attempt is called a golden chance because the statistics shows that the selection rate of the candidates who appear for the first time in SSB is the best. First thing. They are not actually colored by what happens in the SSB. It is their first experience. The responses which they generally give are more natural and more honest. It is only when they have gone through the SSB once, when they come back as a repeater, they have undergone a lot of coaching, they've consulted a lot of people, and then they try to somehow find loopholes in the system and they want to beat the system. So what happens is that firstly they're conscious that they were not recommended for the first time. We're coming for the second time. So they're already under a little bit of pressure. So they want to try some experiments which they think had caused their failure for the first time. And therefore, they go in this environment who actually want to tell you and do an introspection, do your diagnostic, and tell you as to what actually went wrong. So you're depending upon a lot of information which is not authentic. And therefore, you try and do something silly there to make it, So I think that is the reason why it is called the first chance as a golden chance. And let me also tell you, in yesteryears, most of the candidates who came first time for the interview were the ones who got selected. And the saying was, if you've not made it in the first time, you may not make it again. But the things have changed. I must tell the repeaters that nothing has been lost. They have a lot of chance they've got very bright chances of getting selected, but they must do an improvement which is required. They should do introspection, or honesty, and then develop those weaknesses. That will be the best thing. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is from Tejas Rayate. He has asked how to avoid getting over-friendly during the interview.
How to avoid getting over-friendly in the interview?
Yes, sir.
Well, it is a two-way process. As I said, that interview is a two-way process, and if the IO is very friendly with you, then what will happen is that you are bound to become friendly with him. But if he is he doesn't want you to get friendly, he will not allow you to do that. But from your side, one must understand that it is a formal interview. While there is a certain amount of friendliness there is a certain amount of comfort which has been you're subjected to by the IO. It is deliberately done. He wants you to be comfortable, but that does not give you a liberty to become informal. That is what I would recommend. And you must maintain that kind of a formal thing with it. And that is what I personally feel. You should not become casual at any stage. As far as friendliness is concerned, yes, he's going to be very friendly with you. He's going to try and make you feel as if he's a friend of yours. But you need to be a little conscious about it and then only remain very formal during the interview. That's what I can say. Yeah. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
So the next question is from Anepu Abhishek. Yeah. The question is, what is the appropriate body language gestures to be maintained during the PI? And is it okay if you look left or right while thinking about a question?
Okay, I'll answer it in this way that, you have to, when you're talking with confidence, if suppose you're confident and you know the answer well and you're being honest, the chances are that you're not going to look up and down. That is what the thing is. The body language is such, our body nervous system is such that we react. Our brain sends a message to your body and other things. And when you are uncomfortable, you start making some gestures. And that gestures are picked up by the IO very, very quickly. And he understands that this is a place where you feel a little uncomfortable. And he is going to subject you to a further questioning on that particular topic. And he may come up with something which was hidden inside you. And if it is bad, there is an angularity, there's a word known as angularity. That means you are having a little bit of kink in that. You may be very good in all 15 OLQs, 14 OLQs, but in one OLQ, if you're found having an angularity, you will not be recommended. So therefore, body language is something which is actually a manifestation of your thought process. So to just say that it is okay to look here and there, I cannot answer that way. But what I want to answer is that there should be no requirement to look here and there. That is how you should be prepared for the SSB. You should be open-minded. You should be absolutely like an open book there. And you should be confident of what you're saying. And if you do not know an answer, straight away say, sorry, sir, I do not know the answer. I mean, there is no harm in saying so. As a matter of fact, it would be the very good idea to say that rather than beating around the bush and then indicating to him that you are not comfortable on this question. And it happens in many cases, especially when we are talking about the parents or father or mother or some relationships. I've found that some candidates just buckle down. They indicate very, very low tolerance level. So that is what is to be avoided. And body language is actually a manifestation of your thought process. So I cannot say that if you look here and there, is it bad or not? It is actually bad because you are not you're not comfortable with the question. That is what it indicates. All right. I hope I've answered this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the next question is from Rupam Upadhyay. Once an interview asked me about my image from a third person's view. For example, what does your boss thinks about you?
Yeah.
What is the expected answer from me in terms of professional relation or personal?
Shreya, I avoid giving set-piece answers to questions like this. You know why? The fact that he asked you that what do you think about the boss, I'm giving you that liberty to express what you want to. There is no set answer to it. As a matter of fact, the way you give an answer, I'm going to actually assess you as to what is. That's why I said that your answers, that is what I'm looking at. If I tell you that you just tell him his professional nature, that is not correct. It is your personality, what you want to say. And that is what I'm telling you. If you don't tell him, what he says is going to reflect his personality. Because if I ask you today, Shreya, tell me something about you, what you tell me is what is your value system. If you tell me only 3-4 things and you don't tell me other things, you think that is the only thing which you are actually what, and they are not, but you are not telling me. So your answers by itself, what you say and what you do not say, are giving me a peep into your personality. That's why we leave it open-ended question. We do not tell you that please tell me that what did your father tell you when your percentage is dropped? I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you how did you feel about it? You can tell me anything. You felt bad, you felt happy, you learned something, you didn't learn anything. Whatever it is, I leave it to you because I want to know as to how you and what was the actual feelings you had. I want to know that. Suppose I ask you about your work, what is that you're giving me in that work? What all are you including? Because that is also telling me about you, isn't it? So that's how. So I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, sir, you have. The next question is from Arjun Gupta.
Yeah.
How to handle the shouts and pressure built by IO, techniques for clearing conference?
Okay, that's a good question because some IOs do take you to that level. They pressurize you. They do
Yes, sir.
a little bit of drama there. They put you under pressure. They may speak a little, or they may show disinterest, or they may show some kind of a frown or an annoyance on you. But my advice to all the candidates is, you have gone there with a purpose. Your purpose is to answer to the best of your ability in a very calm and a composed manner. If he is trying to irritate you, he is trying to put pressure on you. If you are confident and if you think that you know everything, I mean, that's the thing. You have to take it very calmly. You should not get affected by what he is trying to put you under pressure for. It is not only the IO who puts you under pressure, even the GTO puts you under a lot of pressure. So you have to, we want to see whether you can take the pressure or not, and answer to the best of your ability by smiling. Just remain cool and composed. He's trying to see whether you remain cool or composed or not, because he's got something against you. He's found out something. He's trying to put you under pressure now. And he wants to see that whether what I can advise very seriously is that you have gone to give your best. Today only I was watching Sadhguru. You know what he says? I do not give liberty to anyone to make me happy or to make me unhappy. I do not give that liberty. So I think that's a gospel truth. Don't allow anybody to give you that liberty. You remain what you are. Your personality is under. You're being examined, not him. So his behavior can be anything. You remain cool. Just answer with your thought process. Because if you get under pressure, your thinking will freeze. And I don't want that to happen. Okay.
Certainly, sir. So Yuvika has asked, a lot of candidates feel that it is the end after rejecting, like it's the end after getting rejected from SSB. How can one introspect the flaws after SSB rejection?
Sorry, Shreya, I couldn't hear you very clearly. Can you repeat that, please?
Pardon, sir, there was a network error. The question is, a lot of candidates feel that it is the end after getting rejected from SSB. How can one introspect the flaws after SSB rejection?
The later part of the question I couldn't hear clearly, but what I can make out is that the candidate wishes to know that should he think that it's the end of the world as far as once he gets rejected. Am I right? That is the first part of your question.
Yeah.
I didn't get the second part very clearly. What was that? Floor,
so,
when you say something about...
The question is asking, how can one introspect the flaws after SSB rejection?
Okay, how can one introspect? That is the question. Am I right? That's a question? That's a question? Introspect after rejection?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Firstly, I must make one thing very clear. That rejection is not the end of the world. I don't think so. That attitude should not be there. If that is the attitude, then I'm afraid you will put yourself into a lot of trouble, because you will start having an inferiority complex. You will start feeling guilty. You will start feeling that you're not worth anything. Your self-esteem is the most important thing which you have. And if you let that be ruined or sort of bruised by just a rejection, then I'm afraid you're unnecessarily putting yourself under pressure. I can imagine you feel bad. Everybody would feel bad. Once you're rejected, you get a feeling of, feeling of rejection is something which gives you a little bad feeling. I've undergone that, not in the SSB, but otherwise in life. SSB, of course, I was fortunate I got to the first attempt. But then what I'm trying to say is that do not allow that to actually come in your way. But the best thing is, while you're fresh from the SSB rejection, please sit down and honestly do an introspection. Your own conscience, you cannot lie. You may tell that I did very well. I actually completed all my VAT, TAT, and SRTs and things like that. But what was the quality of the replies? We are not looking at the quantity. We are looking at the quality. So you should do an introspection, a very honest introspection. And the better, if you are honest, you will come out with your weaknesses and your drawbacks which you reflected there, and you will be able to work on them. Take help of some mentor. You must take help of. Actually, if you don't ask for help at times, it doesn't work. So you take help and ask somebody, that those who are experts on the thing, that this is what happened with me. And the best time is the moment you get back. Don't wait for the next SSB call. The moment you get back, just sit down with some expert and tell him, and you replay your complete thing. I take a diagnostic session with people who do not make it. And I find the best time is the moment they come back within a day or two. Because that's the time his things are fresh in his mind. He or she is able to tell me what actually happened. And they replay the complete SSB with me. Once they replay the SSB, I'm able to actually effectively analyze as to what went wrong. And so should they do. And once they have found out, then it is their willpower, determination to actually improve and go back and be successful. There are candidates who have got selected after 16th attempt also. So that's what it is. Don't lose hope. That's what my answer
Certainly,
is.
sir. So this would be the last question for the day. The question is from Naman Tandon. The question is, how to answer strength and weakness question from the perspective of a future officer?
How to answer strength and weaknesses from point of view of future officer. Is that what the question is?
Yes, sir.
I don't think so. We ask you a question like this, that what are your strengths and weaknesses as far as officer is concerned, but we ask strengths and weaknesses. I think that is how the questions are generally framed. But even if somebody is asked, we are looking at your present strengths and weaknesses. Actually, we are looking at how much of insight do you have in your own self, and how honest are you with your own insight. That is what the question is for. Some people try to avoid telling their drawbacks. They think that if I tell a drawback, then it may become negative. I've already told you in the earlier answers that it is not the drawback which is bad. It is not the, but it is, if you're doing nothing about it, that is what is the problem. Issue is that only. You know that I'm not concentrating well. I'm physically not fit. I'm little obese. I mean, people know that they are obese and they still come to the SSB without that. So I asked them that you knew that when you're coming for the SSB, we have told you that there is some standard. They come with all kind of funny dresses. What does it tell me? That they are casual. They don't even listen to the instructions what we're giving. So what I'm trying to say is that be honest, tell them the weaknesses and the strong points you have. And he may ask you, how do you want to improve them? What are you doing to improve? And in case you're genuinely trying to improve, it'll reflect. It'll reflect in many things. You don't have to just, drum your achievements to show that. It'll reflect. He will be able to make up. So that is what my honest reply to this question would be.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really amazing having a conversation with you.
All right. Can I just reflect, before that, can I reflect my slide where I've given my details, please?
Certainly, sir.
Okay, I'll just give that slide, because that is, I was told that you can then show that slide. Can you see that?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah, the people who just want to note these details can and do that. And now you can hand him over to you. Let this be displayed. He can start with the vote of thanks. Thank you very much, Shreya.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nilay Bhatnagar, and I have the opportunity today to present the vote of thanks to our resource person, Major General A.K. Shukla. And I have to say, I feel honored to be given this chance. So I heartily thank General Shukla for sparing his time to speak for us. The points and highlights he covered about the SSB procedure from his own experience were exemplary, and the way in which he went over the subject was absolutely brilliant. I would like to extend my gratitude to all the members of the organizing team Arambh. Without their efforts and ambition, this webinar could certainly have not been possible. I would also like to thank the SSB community and the Instagram page, Indian Army Brag, for giving us the valuable media outreach that we needed, making it all the more memorable. thank you all for being a part of this today. And with that, I wish you all happy landings, Godspeed, and Jai Hind.
So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was all the participants and the organizers to having given me this opportunity, and also, Sunday evening you could have been doing many good things in life, but you did spend time on your goals which you want to achieve. So you must compliment each one of yourself. You must compliment that you've taken the step to at least spend time invest time in something which will help you in your life. It gives me a lot of pleasure talking to the youth and sharing my experiences, because I want you all to be part of the nation building. Thank you so very much. I'm really humbled. Thank you.
It was our pleasure, sir.
Any officer, set over me, even to the peril of my life.
I'm an officer in the Indian Army. I'm a son to two mothers. One bore me, but the other, my country. She made me